So I had a 12-month restraint of trade as part of the sale of my business. I lasted 7 months. So I went to America for 4 months with my husband and my twin daughters. So we had a 4-month holiday. And then I also did a 3-month round the world cruise.
Welcome to Leading and Growing Your Real Estate Business. I'm James Short, and this show dives into the real stories behind the agents and the leaders shaping our industry. No polished highlight reels, just honest conversations about what's working, what's not, and how they're building businesses that actually grow. Each episode, I sit down with someone in the trenches, top performers, rising leaders, business owners who've cracked the code and others still figuring it out. We unpack the wins, the failures, the habits, and the lessons you can put to work straight away. Before we dive in, can I ask a favor? And please subscribe or follow on the platform you're listening or watching this. The more we grow, the bigger impact we can have together. And thank you. Let's get started. Hi, and welcome back to another edition. We are super excited to have our next guest with us, Sandra Sherratt. After successfully owning her own agency for the past 10 years, Remax Real Estate Specialist, and then the Gold Coast International Realty, which she sold in 2016, Sandra is excited about her return to the industry and her passion for selling real estate on the Gold Coast and Brisbane, and is also fully licensed to sell property in New South Wales for all her New South Wales clients. Sandra loves achieving premium prices for her clients, and being a strong and skilled negotiator is her biggest strength. Bringing over 17 years of real estate experience to the table, no deal is too hard, and she thrives on the challenging sales. She enjoys the satisfaction and joy it creates once the deal is finalized. It helps that her parents are also in the real estate industry, even still today, with a combined experience of over 80 years. I look forward to unpacking that a bit further. Sandra has grown up with it, and real estate has been around her entire life. It's in her blood. Owning investment properties herself, she understands the delicate process of working with investors and tenants to obtain the best possible outcome for all parties, to have a win-win solution. She feels privileged to have many long-term repeat and loyal clients over the years who have now become close friends. It's what makes her career so fulfilling. Sandra cherishes the implicit trust for her clients, provide her to enable mutual success and achieve the maximum results for their family, while also having a consultative and collaboration style of approach. Sandra is hardworking, focus-driven, and result-orientated, and is honoured to be able to help with so many to achieve their property and personal goals. She wants to help you experience financial freedom and independence and live the life you dream of. Sandra, honour and a privilege to have you on the show. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, there's so many things I want to unpack, but let's go back to those beginnings of, yes, it's in the blood, but what got you started in the industry first up?
I guess always been involved with it. My parents always had commercial properties, restaurants, nightclubs, bars. So I've always been in that environment. I love it. It's fast-paced. It's ever-changing. And I think it was just inevitable that I was going to take that path.
Love it. Love it. Now, when you first started, what was your first role when you first started within the industry?
I worked through Burleigh Heads Real Estate. I did the Genman system, which was Neil Genman, which was a very specific type of real estate. Excellent training. I did the hard work, door knocking. We had quotas. Telemarketing, we also had quotas. So those skills really set me up with a great foundation.
Definitely a good foundation, right? Like those foundational aspects are so important, particularly today. Now, as you grew through your career, what were you thinking about then opening up your own store, your own office, your own opportunity? What was that going from being employed to then taking that leap of faith? What was going through your mind at that stage?
So with the Genman system, that is open homes, private inspections, and is quite structured. So to get the opposite side, I then had a period with Ray White, which was auctions, open houses, and
completely different.
Like you said, so I wanted to have the full exposure and the full range. And once I had my training and knowledge and background from Ray White, I then decided that I wanted to take the best of both worlds. And that's when I opened my own business under Remax, which gave me that flexibility to take the best parts of each system that I'd worked in and truly make it my own.
I love that approach because you're looking at a holistic viewpoint rather than just a singular viewpoint. And then you build that up, had some great success. And then 2016 came, you decided to sell, right? What
Yes.
got you to that position and point?
Well, at that time, when I had the Remax franchise, my franchise agreement was up for renewal, and they do 5-year agreements. I only wanted to have one for 4 years, and that didn't fit in with my plan to retire by 40. So they said it's 5 years or nothing. And I said, well, I'm sorry, I will go. And that's how I became Gold Coast International Realty. So I prepared that so that I would retire at 40.
Amazing. And you did that, tick that off. Fantastic. Now, over that time of going through the Remax and then the other brand, what was some of the biggest challenges that you worked through? What were some of the things that you learnt going through those stages of being the owner and the principal?
Well, very interestingly, the beginning years of having my Remax franchise, which was 2007 to 2012, which everybody may remember, that was the global financial crisis.
Yep.
And also being an American brand, there were a lot of foreclosures, mortgagees and possessions. So that was a really big part of my business during that time, that I was skilled and trained to do mortgagees and possessions. And even in that time frame was when we looked at rent to buy options because it was very difficult to get funding. And that is another whole game in itself, doing rent to buys, because the contracts can be 2 and 3, 5 years. So probably my beginning years were the challenging years and hard years, but we succeeded and we survived, and it was a good experience.
It's interesting now, right? Like, because obviously different states have got markets and they're changing markets, but like those, I say to people, like, your starting career in a challenging market, it sets up the foundation. So when market does change, you're so far ahead of the game compared to opening up into a market when things are just flying off the shelf, so to speak. It really sets you up for success, and and you can ride the different markets when you start in those challenging markets. Would that be a fair call?
Absolutely, and I really do think it's been a huge benefit. And I'm excited about these upcoming months. I mean, I know obviously there's uncertainty and people are unsure, but there's opportunities everywhere for everybody. You just have to pivot and turn and look and see where you can take advantage of the current market.
Yeah, so true, so true. Now, you had a break in 2016. What exciting things did you get up to, and then what got you back into the industry?
So I had a 12-month restraint of trade as part of the sale of my business. I lasted 7 months. So I went to America for 4 months with my husband and my twin daughters. So we had a 4-month holiday. And then I also did a 3-month round the world cruise, which I wanted to do when I was 40 and young, because obviously on a world cruise, majority of people are 65 to 85. But it was fascinating because I got to speak to so many amazing people. And when I was sitting at the dinner table and they were all in their 70s, 80s and 90s, I said, in hindsight, what advice can you give me?
Great question.
Looking back. And I asked them, what were your best decades? And they all said their 50s. And at that time, I just turned 40. And in November last year, I just turned 50. And so I was like, well, I've got 10 years to prepare for the best decades of my life. And the reason they said that is because at 50, you've got financial independence, you've got life experience, you've still got your health, you've still got your mobility, and you can enjoy things and just make the most of life. So, I think I'm really happy and looking forward to, 50s and 60s and staying fit and healthy and making the most of life.
Love it. So true. Well done. Congratulations on the move. It's very exciting. And what a great opportunity on the cruise to ask those questions, to get those insights, because, it's so important to ask those who've walked the journeys before us and to get those insights and to lean on those experiences. So good on you. Well done. Now,
And I also, sorry to interrupt, and I did also get a number of listings from the World Cruise
Of course you did.
because there were wealthy baby boomers who had assets in their portfolio. So
Love it.
the cruise paid
Love
for
it.
itself more time later.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah,
I got a
fantastic.
great return on investment.
You booked the next one.
Exactly.
So good, so good. Now, you would have seen some changes over the industry over those years that you've been in and out of the industry. What have you seen some of those biggest changes, and how have you adapted to those changes?
One of the biggest things, which I started very early and has been key to my business being so successful and profitable, is I adopted the use of virtual assistants 15 years ago. So while the majority of my competitors were still using marketing assistants who were local and admin who were local, my profitability and my margins were so much greater, which allowed me to have that growth. So that was really one of my competitive advantages in my market that I kept.
Fantastic.
So,
What a
yeah.
great opportunity. And that's the thing, right? It's staying ahead of the game, of seeing how you can utilize and take it and really lean into that type of service and technology to really increase those margins and that profitability. And so how is that playing out for you? You're still using VAs? Are you dabbling in AI? Where is the technology space for you at the moment?
Both of those. I do have virtual assistants, bookkeeping for admin. But yes, AI is definitely where it's going. I'm part of Dale Beaumont's business blueprint.
He's a good man, Dale.
Yes, I've been part of that entrepreneurs program for probably 15 years now. So that's very heavily involved with making sure that we are equipped to handle AI, the changes, what's coming, and be one step ahead of everybody.
So true. I love it. Yes, he's a good man, Dale. Dale and I go back many, many years. That's a different time for a different conversation, but yeah, we've definitely, he's a forefront leader, innovator of the industry. So I love him. What's on the horizon? What's some of the exciting projects that you're working on over the next 6 to 12 months that you'd like to share?
I'm really looking at opportunities internationally, is something that I've been looking at. So in October last year, I went to Italy and drove from the north to the south and was looking at all of the €1 properties and renovations. Obviously, there's a lot of pros and cons, and you need to be aware of all of the legalities, the visas, the requirements of having those. I've also been looking at properties in Dubai. Some clients are looking at that because obviously there's the tax. It's a tax advantage to be there. Obviously, with the recent war, that area may be on hold for a little while. So watch that space and we'll see that. Also looking at Bali is another growth area for a lot of expats and a lot of people looking at retiring. I manage a number of clients' properties who are in Thailand. So that's also another thing. And with the change in the New Zealand market as well, their market has come back significantly to a degree. So I definitely think there's opportunities there in New Zealand as well.
All amazing places to visit and holiday, and also do some research and development whilst you're over there. So fantastic. I love it. Now, Sandra, on the show, we have our 60-second quiz to find out more about our guests. Are you willing to play?
Of course. Let's have some fun.
Here we go. What's your favourite movie?
Very tragic, but I have to admit to Pretty Woman.
Love it. Fantastic. What's your favourite food?
Italian.
Excellent. What's your favourite holiday destination?
Lake Tahoe.
Oof, beautiful. What's your morning routine look like?
I exercise every morning and I do all my prospecting in the morning.
Fantastic. And do you have an evening routine?
I'm usually so exhausted, I'm lucky if I get to watch half an hour of Netflix before falling asleep.
Do you have a most embarrassing moment?
Probably the number of times I keep crashing my car because I'm distracted and not focused on the road. So
Fantastic.
I've probably had 25 to 30 crashes.
Okay, fair enough. If you could choose 5 inspirational people to have dinner with, they could be dead or alive, who would they be?
Some of these may be a little bit controversial. I would like to have dinner with Oprah just because of the number of people that she has interacted with and met with. One that may be a little bit polarizing would be Donald Trump. Yep. Because obviously I'm in real estate. I love negotiations. I love the deals and everything like that. So that would be a second one. I would also like to see, Michael Jackson. I think he had a fascinating history, his family branding, business as a family, coming from a family business myself. Again, he had some scandals and interesting life stories. I would have loved to have spoken to him and got the actual truth. So that's another one. And then, again, probably a strange one, people are wondering, I wouldn't mind with Vladimir Putin or Kim Jong-un. I would love to get an understanding of the communism side and the socialist side, being such an entrepreneur and a capitalist. I would really, like I said, I think there's probably pros and cons to each system, but I just think that would be interesting to see, they're strong.
What a great table.
Yes. Very diverse.
Wow. Yeah, right. Totally. Do you have a biggest regret?
Not starting my own business earlier.
Cool. Fantastic. Now, go on.
I've been fired from a number of jobs, and that's just because I like to do things my way, and I should have just started earlier. Yep. I'm unemployed. I tell everybody I'm totally unemployable, and I know that. True. But that's okay.
That's okay. Great. Lean into your strengths.
Exactly.
So good. What would be your best piece of advice? Now, there's obviously real estate agents that are just starting, that are some that are looking to branch out into their own office. There's some seasoned agents. What would be your best piece of advice if you could across them all?
The biggest piece of advice that I give to every new agent that comes and speaks to me is you have to be financially secure for at least 16 months to 2 years. You have to have that financial backing behind you because it takes time to build your business. And unfortunately, generally it's on a ratio of 1 in 10 will survive. Everybody thinks it's easy. You just put a for sale sign up in the yard and answer the phones. But, I do long hours. When I'm here working, I work 6-7 days a week. I love it. And, it's not a chore. It's a passion. And you get the results if you do the hours and you do the work. But I have a great balance and I have a lot of time off and I get to travel a lot as well. But you have to put those long hours and hard hours in the beginning.
Yeah, so true. Fantastic. Great piece of advice. And where can the audience follow your journey, find out more, particularly maybe even the international stuff? Where can they go? How can they reach out?
Well, I'm not very tech savvy, so the best place is Facebook because that's the only social platform I'm on. I'm probably the only person in the world who does not have TikTok or Instagram or X or Twitter or whatever it's all called. So Facebook, but with my contact details, my mobile and email, they're both 24/7. So that's the best way to contact me.
Fantastic. We'll put all those details in the show notes. Sandra, so excited to get you on the show. Thank you so much for your insights, your expertise, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about the international side of the property opportunities that you're creating. So once again, thank you for being on the show.
Thanks, James. Have a great day. Appreciate it.